As we remember and celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy on this day, in an environment where we've reached a crescendo of outcries and protests for social justice, and in a sensitive political climate where tensions and emotions are running high, many fellow citizens are left grappling with how to deal with these issues and pondering the impact that this might be having on our young ones. We at Such figured, what if we reached back into history and pulled out the wisdom of three men, Dr. King, Gandhiji, and Nelson Mandela, to help and guide us? In this short skit titled Arin Zoomed In with MLK, Gandhi, and Mandela, we'll have Arin, a middle schooler from Hopkins Public School, who will pose some questions and such members voicing these three leaders and using some of their famous quotes to help and guide young Arin.
Hello, Dr. King, Mr. Mandela, and Gandhiji. It is nice to be here and thank you for your presence. My first question to you is this. We had a discussion recently in civics class about the events that took place at the Capitol building 2 weeks ago. My friends and I were affected emotionally by our discussion. What steps should we take to heal our country going forward?
It's okay for you to feel this way. And in fact, a lot of adults feel this way too. The actions of a few hundred or even a few thousand should not drown out the larger good that's happening in our world. Even on that day, there were many brave people and leaders that carried on with their duty and did what was right for democracy. Remember, if for every such action by a few, if people on the other side engaged in similar behavior, then, as I've famously said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I'm curious to hear what my dear friend Dr. King has to say.
You know, this is the unusual thing about nonviolence. Nobody is defeated. Everybody shares in the victory. And I feel at the center of nonviolence stands the principle of love. You should look to follow the path of love.
I understand where you both are coming from, but I still have some questions. We all want peace in the world, and we all talk about how we should live in harmony with our fellow people. But given all that is happening, we feel like we can't talk to others anymore. So what can we as kids do to help others out?
Sure, when you hear big words like world peace, it's completely understandable that this is something we all want, but yet one can't see how we contribute or what our role in it is. I strongly believe it all starts with you and how you treat others. Peace between countries must rest on the solid foundation of love between individuals. You must be the change you want to see in the world. Mr. Mandela, can you share your thoughts based on your experiences in bringing an end to apartheid in South Africa?
You're right, Mr. Gandhi. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that generation.
It's good to have these kind of directions from leaders like you. However, I still feel like there's more to be addressed. Tension has been building up in our country and all around the world over the last few months and years due to recent events involving injustice. People feel a strong sense of inequality and injustice, and they can't see a path forward behind their rage and sorrow. Can you help us see through the darkness?
Well, I can tell you about how I approached it and asked this of everyone I preach to. Make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to the noble struggle for equal rights. You will make a greater person of yourself, a greater nation of your country, and a finer world to live in. Mr. Mandela, what has been your experience?
Well, I believe that a nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. People should understand that no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. If they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite.
You do remember that I once said many years ago on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial that I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I hope that dream comes true. And if America is to be a great nation, This must come true.
Thank you once more for your collective guidance, wisdom, and for joining me in this call to talk on these matters. The knowledge I have now, I can find a way to help my friends and my community.
Good
Good luck.
luck.
Good luck.